chops it up and cuts out stuff beforehand. He's live. I think I hear myself talking on his stream.
Look at you.
Maybe.
You're famous, Emperor.
You have no idea.
Who's live?
BB. Star Atlas
Oh.
TV.
Nice.
Your stream is not working though. It says failed stream, failed to start. Hey, buddy.
Hey, everybody.
All right, I have just over an hour, maybe an hour, 15 minutes. I won't be able to finish all of the office hours.
Okay.
What you got going on, Lancer?
Family stuff.
Okay.
Unacceptable.
Yeah.
How dare you?
Traitor.
Signal, you do look a little tired.
Just a teensy bit. Yeah. I'm doing all right. Been bouncing around all day, and it's there's plenty of times where you guys don't personally see it, but I might have been talking for hours and hours and hours before I get into this room. So there's some days.
Anytime you're quiet, anytime you're quiet, I assume you're having a conversation somewhere else.
Yeah, that's actually a pretty good assumption. And never in my life are things ever quiet. Never am I actually really relaxed and settled down. So if you don't see me frenetically very active on Discord or in Star Atlas, just picture me running around like a crazy person somewhere else.
I love it.
All right, we're live. Everyone can hear us?
Yeah.
Hello, world.
Oh no.
Oh, no.
Guys, stop talking about Project X. We're live now.
Man. Oh, man.
All right, we're back in action. It's 3:00. 1900 UTC.
Let's do this.
We're calling this one to order our 6th meeting ever. Instead of Twitch this time, I'm broadcasting live to X. And so is VB from Star Atlas TV.
Oh, that's awesome.
You're the only one in camera. I'm not. I haven't done my mustache today, so.
Oh yeah, I'll shut it down so you're not just looking at my crazy face instead of the presentation.
Yeah. Have a bit of a lumberjack beard going.
Yeah. Instead, you get to see my PFP, which of course looks nothing like me.
So for the org chart, I reviewed last week's mini minutes, and I took a stab at the mission statement here to steward the PIP process and enable DAO participation. What do y'all think of that?
For some reason, I'm having a hard time seeing the stream. Is that true of anyone else, or is it just me?
It's not working.
Close the stream and then reopen it.
Gotcha. I tried that. Let me log out of the call real quick.
Oh, wait. How about now?
It just shows up like it's loading.
Yeah, mine.
I'll hop in and out real quick, see if that changes it.
Yeah, VB has been having trouble for the last hour.
Oh, it's one of those days then.
All right, can you see my screen?
No.
Actually, I can't see your screen. Maybe try lowering the frame rate or the resolution or something.
Or we can open the window on the stream on your other account, like I did on the plane.
I see it now, brother.
There we go.
I see it
fixed it.
perfectly. So
Oh, I see
whatever
now.
changed, it's perfect.
Sounds good. All right. So this is what I took a stab at after reading the minutes from last week. Yo, 2 or 3 of you said the word steward, so I knew I wanted to put that one in there. But steward the PIP process and enable DAO participation. What do you all think of that?
I like it.
Sounds good to
Works
me.
for now.
Okay, cool.
That's the most
All right.
concise thing.
Diagram has not changed from what I can see. Treasury.
I updated that. That's
Okay,
all
so
current as of today.
5,000 at Atlas Marketplace, 300 at a rental fees, better than $5 from last time I remember.
So we
Yeah, it's
we had
actually an
one-
improvement.
Okay.
Last time we were around like 54K. Now it's looking we're around like
60.
61.
Yeah.
Right on. Very good. Okay. And voting ended for PIP 16, writing systems at 75% yes. Congratulations.
Yes. The other one should. I don't know why it's not showing. It's showing on my screen.
I'm not seeing it.
Let me.
Which one?
PIP 15.
Oh.
The screenshot. But either way, PIP 15 didn't pass.
Yeah.
In-person community meetup platform. And the vote for that was 60% no, roughly 40% yes.
Okay.
So it wasn't a landslide one way or another, but the no's won this one.
Okay. And if we go to our PIP process over here, and if rejected, you're going to need to go back and repropose the idea in PIP ideas.
Mm-hmm.
That is correct.
Okay.
If he wants
Was there a
to.
cool-off period? Can I just do that right away?
I think they could
He's
just
gonna
go
have-
back in there right away, but they're going back in knowing that something genuinely has to change, because if it went up to vote again the way it was, it would just get knocked down again.
Yeah.
Okay. Sounds good.
Yeah, and they'll have to get 25 more thumbs up to do the whole thing and all of it. So
Yeah.
I think it's actually decent process with the thumbs up.
Yeah,
I-
I think it's probably working. Feels like it's working.
Yeah, Brian said it, when we were talking about in the past that, like it really is like as limited and it's not perfect or ideal, but like for what it is, it's a really great bullshit filter. Meaning like it does catch a lot of stuff that the community wouldn't push all the way through to a vote, while still not being so restrictive that like nobody gets passed, because clearly things are passing it every now and then that still don't get voted to a yes.
Gotcha. Okay. All right, the next one was the PIP accounting spreadsheet.
Yeah, we went over that last week.
We did? Okay. Any new updates?
No, that was the update that we had one.
Oh. Okay. All right.
The
Are we
update
gonna
is there's a sheet.
is the intent to show this update every week?
No, it was just it's actually marked as a skip slide. Because
Okay.
we had already gone through it.
Alrighty. For the quad.
I don't know where we need to put it, but there was some feedback on that slide that people were asking if it's going to be made public, and there was discussion in the chat that yes, it's our intention to make it public. We just need to make sure there's not any like proprietary or personal information or anything on there. So that is something we need to continue to work on, is making it publicly available and just guaranteeing that there's nothing on there. And if there isn't even right now, then we may as well make it public. But
That's proprietary?
I don't know, like if there's anything like an address or an email address, or part of this was for our back end record keeping.
Okay.
And I was just trying to make sure we were completely above, being as forthright as we can be without divulging any information about people. So we do need to put that on the agenda somewhere at some time to guarantee it's publicly ready for consumption.
Yeah,
Not
and it was
necessarily
made with
today.
that intention. It was made with intention to be public, if that's what we all agreed on.
Yeah. As long as it doesn't contain any privately identifiable information, like you said,
Yeah.
emails, stuff like that, then that should be fine.
Yeah, and he doesn't.
Yeah. Cool. Council quad. So it looks like since we talked, or since you all had last week's PIP 16, 15, voting ended. PIP 17 was approved by the foundation. However, a flaw on the budget allocation will delay the vote. Oh, I get what you're saying. Okay.
That's one of our action items.
We essentially just have a little bit of wording that needs to be altered, and then it should be good to vote.
Yeah, we just need to make sure it fits under the 5% of the ecosystem fund, and we can move forward. And that's the way it was intended, but it was not clear in the summary. So the summary is actually asking for double that, and we're gonna change that so it doesn't violate anything, doesn't cause any confusion, and people understand that there's going to be a second part of the PIP that it will go to vote again for a similar amount to finish the feature, the film feature.
Yeah.
Okay.
Essentially, just clarity that once this PIP is approved, it doesn't result in 20 million Atlas or whatever being paid out. That the actual value of this initial vote proposal, what we're talking about, is it's 10 million, which is the 5% limit. It's mainly for clarity and to avoid confusion and drama.
Hold on, we'll talk about that when we get down there, so we can actually take proper notes.
Perfect.
When we get to that slide.
Okay.
I don't know that there's any other accomplishments notable. I mean, we've been working on stuff, but
Gotcha. And this standard operating procedure, is that part of what was on the agenda? Is that ready?
Yep. It's I don't know. It's on the agenda for later in the meeting.
Yeah, that's regarding the payment process and the system that we are creating to keep that safe and open.
Okay.
Well,
And for our third event milestone, didn't we establish that disbursement protocol for PIP 12?
I wouldn't necessarily say we did a protocol,
PIP
but
12 doesn't have any budget on it, if I'm not mistaken.
I don't
PIP
even
12
know.
was the
PIP
Iris
12 was.
Bounty Feast.
We're still waiting on the team.
Okay. Still waiting on them to establish how they want us to pay.
We established it. We just need their blessing.
No, PIP 12 is the Iris, of course.
Okay.
Yeah. Iris Bounty.
Yeah, I'll put Bounty.
Yeah.
Well, we're just waiting on feedback
established
from
it.
Dan from our forum and see if that's enough or if we need to take any more feedback. Basically, Dan and Santi's feedback we need.
Okay, got it.
Actually, it's not feedback from the foundation. It's feedback from Automata.
Yeah.
All right. And we're no longer talking action items? Is that why it skipped?
I don't know. No, I skipped it that last meeting because I didn't know what I was doing with this slide. This is your
It's
expertise.
okay. Normally what I do is I just click the link and then I just go for whatever's are open. We have, first one is coordinate working groups for PIP reviews. Bodhi, is that still ongoing?
That's been deprioritized so far.
Did we I think Drum, weren't you, did you edit that, or where did we leave off with that?
We haven't come back to that.
Oh, so we basically it's basically been the same stage for a while now. Then needs to be.
So I'll say pause until.
Yeah,
more bandwidth.
Gotta reword it.
What do you call those stickers that we play? A sticker that said delayed, and it's just on hold while we catch up with everything else, and then I think next week we should have time to get back on that.
Okay. All right, I'll just put that then. It's on pause until more bandwidth can be devoted.
Yeah.
All right. Determine strategy of tool creations for SAC2 dashboard, Emperor.
Still working on it.
Okay. Is that on pause, or are
Some
you
pe-
still working it?
Still working on it. Some people might call me grandma or grandpa. I mean,
Okay.
that was
I
a
don't know how
joke
to do
from
that.
last week when I was asking about technical stuff, and Drum made fun of me for being grandpa, not knowing things. It
Yeah.
was fun.
And the last one, Carlos, is obtain DAO Council domain and email.
Yeah, and we touched on that with Dan, but he was going to go and find out what was the status of that. Remember that he said that he was finally able to tell us the domain that we are not to divulge yet, but yeah, hopefully he will have news for us soon, and just basically make sure that we're going to get a section of that we can make our own, and that way do the dashboard and do any other communication we want through webpage.
Okay. Met with Automata, awaiting feedback from Dan on way forward.
And I think we got to add the pip disbursements channel and maybe SOPs to this.
Oh.
Are we adding that in the right section here?
No, we could add it to accomplishments.
Oh, yeah, that's right.
Well, it's
Excellent.
not completed yet fully. So it's
Well-
I definitely, I mean, it's definitely like got the structure done, but I it's particularly the landing page I wanted to discuss with you guys. The SOPs, you know, I can keep chipping away at it even by myself if needed, but that landing page I want to make sure that, because that's what authors are going to see. So whereas the
It's just-
SOPs is like our internal way that we're going to handle it.
Complete pip disbursement process. Is that a
Testing.
good name for it?
Yeah, good enough. Yeah.
Okay. And when do you think that it'll be done?
I think.
Oh, wait,
Uh,
I'm sorry, wrong question. When did we start this?
Well, we just got the
days ago?
channel 2 days ago.
Oh,
So-
2 weeks ago.
No, we got the channel like 2 days ago. So
Yeah, we
there
started
was
the
a-
conversation. Yeah, we started the conversation a while, but Santi was able to create the channel for us 2 days ago, and since then we've been doing tests and channels and threads and messages, and Buddy and I have been testing. And
Yeah.
I think we got a good idea now what needs to happen and how to manage it.
and what's the next step?
Well, basically, as far as the pip disbursement, we need to look at that channel. That authors, when they get their pip approved, they get sent to this. They get a role which gives them access to a channel, and all I really need from, as far as like our communication is, I need to get more eyes on it and make sure that we all like, you know, what that landing page looks like for the
Oh.
authors.
Okay. So we're waiting completion of testing and feedback from SAC2.
Yeah.
Yeah.
That works.
Got
Pretty
it.
much, yeah.
Got it. Okay. Easy enough.
Testing's pretty much done. I would like to go through one test run from the top down. Like, we already brought in an alt account, but I'd like to just do it basically from beginning to end, at least, you know, just to make sure before we bring in the first people. But
Okay.
it seems like it's going to work exactly the way we need it to.
So Lancer, just to give you a little bit of context, what we're trying to create is a place where when you get your PIP approved and you need to start coordinating for the disbursement and the KYC and all that, you can go to a place where it's not private messages and it's not stuff where someone else can impersonate someone. And it's better just to give them a role, give them access to a channel where they will have some information basic about where they need to send the KYC and what they need to send. And after that, there will be a thread open with them, a private thread, so no author can see other conversations of other authors. And that's the tricky part, that we can all interact with the authors and they cannot see the information among each other, and only the people allowed can have access to that. And even Automata can keep an eye and see the conversations, and everything is more transparent between us and with the team. And it's safe and secure because nobody can impersonate you once you have the role.
Yeah, I remember reading Bodhi's original plan. So it sounds like it's working, and you just got to test it and make sure we all like it.
Yeah.
Well, and now that we have that page, I was able to structure the standard operating procedures as far as like how we interact with the authors on our end, based around that channel and those threads and stuff like that.
Cool.
So
Okay.
yeah, that's pretty much well on the way. But I definitely want us to look at that landing page to make sure it's got the exact information we want the authors to see, as far as like what, because we just want them to be able to kind of show up to this page and get every bit of information that they're going to need, so that when we go start talking to them, they already have 90% of the questions that they would have answered right off the bat.
Yeah. Okay, so that's when I click pip disbursements and I see that original message from you.
Yeah, that landing page is just going to be a single message, and nobody can type into it.
Yeah.
And then there'll be private threads within that page, which is
Okay.
Yeah,
Yeah,
it's
makes
pretty
sense.
seamless.
Makes sense. Nice job, Bodhi. You too, Carlos.
That was fun.
All right. Okay, so we're good on action items. Meeting minutes. So we did quad accomplishments, we did action items, and drum signal. First things up is pip 17.
All right.
I didn't know. I put that on the list. I don't know who's taking it.
So PIP 17 is the PIP of the media expansion. And the way it's worded right now, even though the intention was different and the way that the implementation shows the process is slightly different, is that on the summary that the PIP is requesting 20 million Atlas. So because we had a different idea of how this was working and there was two separate votes, we didn't catch
real quick,
this
Drum.
Uh-huh.
Drum, I'm gonna pause you real quick. Lanzer, can you pull up that pip on the website for the stream so we can all at least see it?
Yep.
Thank
Okay,
you.
keep going.
Sorry, carry on,
Okay.
Drum.
So when we actually went to vote, someone rose the flag that, hey, does this fit into the ecosystem fund? And when you go and read the summary, the PIP is asking for 20 million Atlas, which is twice what the original 5% was.
It's the first pip it's the top pip, not the second one.
So we went ahead, and before this went into voting, we put a break on it. We put it on hold, and we reached out to the author, and we had a little meeting among ourselves to see how we want to handle this and make sure that the author is happy with the way that it's being handled, which is very similar to the original plan that Signal can explain better how it was structured. But that's basically the situation. I think we need to make some changes in the summary and just make clear that it's basically a PIP that has two different parts. Each part will have a voting for approval, and that way it's gonna get away with splitting, having the ecosystem fund in two different time for two different kind of milestones. But go ahead, Signal.
Okay.
You can explain.
Can you scroll down a little bit?
Yeah, sure.
The big. Hold on. Where's it at in here?
The point of contention was the summary versus the specification. So
there.
Introducing this proposal, it makes clear that the whole life cycle of the thing is intended to cost about 20 million Atlas. But when you go into specifications, it points out that the very first vote that only generates 10 million of that. Then a whole other vote with presentation of everything that's been done so far, etc., will happen at the 60-day mark for 5 million. Then a whole other vote at 120 days will happen for the next 5 million. That to be able to get beyond that first 5% of the ecosystem fund, all of those would require community votes and proposals of their own right submitted to show everything that was done so far to extend funding. But when you look at the summary, of the proposal, it is pointing out the grand total of this is meant to be 20 million Atlas. If you don't want to support something that costs 20 million Atlas, you should vote no on the very first vote, because 10 million is not what's going to get it done. There will be other votes that pop up for funding extensions at 5 and then at 60 days and then at 5 again at 120 days. So The intention of the language was for the proposal to be very clear and upfront about what this whole thing will eventually cost as a cycle, but it introduces confusion because someone's going to see that 20 million number and go, oh, well, it's looking for 20, that's more than 5% of the ecosystem fund, and not realize that the first vote, if you were to vote yes on this, all RASP would get is 10, right? Which would be the ecosystem 5% cap limit. And then separate votes and proposals would have to happen at the 60-day mark and 120-day mark to continue funding to reach that 20 million limit. So it's an interesting example of like a multifaceted PIP, and it creates an interesting discussion for how we would want to structure stuff like this in the future. Like it's going to have recurring payments, multiple votes could be tied to it. It's more complex than giving somebody one thing one time. And what would be the best ways to structure stuff like this?
Yeah, it's known in where I am. It's called the split requirement dilemma. You've got one big requirement, but in order to achieve business goals, you split it up into smaller chunks, or you have to consolidate into the big one, into a big large one. And first of all, did I jack something up when I did Markdown?
No, not at all. I think you did it perfectly.
Okay, cool. All right, so then, yeah, that's definitely probably a philosophical thing we should probably talk through, because that's a well-known thing in the contracting world, where you write contracts and stuff. It's the split requirement dilemma.
And I think you could see it in multiple. Like, one, is it better if you know in advance you're going to need more than what this initial sum is? Should you lay it out in one much larger, comprehensive, complex proposal that shows that there'll be other future votes and all these other things? Do you create one simpler proposal for the 5% limit and just let them know that other ones will come in the future? Like, how would you structure it? I think is like an interesting and a useful discussion.
Yeah. Oh, I see where it's occurring, where it says extension vote. Okay, yes. I got you now.
I think
so you see the total request, but then you see the breakout in the specifications and disbursement plans. Someone who's just reading like the essentially what's on the tin, is going to see 20 million, and they might think it doesn't jive with the 5%.
That's a good note. Who is that? Brian caught that one?
Yeah.
I don't know if it was Brian or if it was Drum, but both of them caught it around the same period of time. So the edit that we're proposing is just to make clear, like for total request, that it says 10 million, and in summary it says 10 million. And then you can look at the disbursement, you can see there will be other votes that extend beyond that 10 million. But at least no one will get confused on the 5% cap.
Because this is the ecosystem, Pip.
I personally like, you gave the two examples of, it's better to lay it all out in one versus, kind of write the PIP like, okay, this is what the first one is, and then there'll be future payments. I kind of like the latter. I definitely think that, in the case you're describing where it's like, okay, we really want to get it to this point, which will require multiple votes. In that case, I would like to see the author specify, what they're shooting for in the end. But I think the main the bulk of the PIP should be about the initial like what this particular vote is for, and then add in some additional details that go into like what future PIPs and expansions would look like.
Right, like that's kind of what Theo did. Like when I first heard the Theo proposal, I'm like, this is interesting. I'm not it seems kind of limited in what it's proposing. And then I found out that originally the idea behind the Theo PIP cost like $60,000 or something like that. And because one, it was bigger than the 5% cap, and it just seemed like too much at once, they broke it down into one single individual PIP that would effectively be like stage one of what they wanted to do. The only downside that I see of it is if you looked, for example, at Theo's PIP when they broke it down that way. Now, if you vote for that first PIP, which we all did, you don't actually see the rest of the runway ahead. You don't see that it's intended that they will come back, maybe, and ask for more funding to continue doing layers and levels of it in the future. So part of me likes seeing the whole roadmap in front of it. Like I know what I'm signing up for. And if I approve this 10 million, I know it's not over here. Like I shouldn't approve it if I'm not willing to approve 5 and 5 later, provided that everything else is being done the way that it should. To some degree, I like all that information in front of me, but I could also understand the advantages of the simplicity.
So well, I think you can do both,
right? You can have the PIP really really focus on what this initial PIP is for, and the initial, say, 10,000 or 5% is for, and then as I don't want to call it an afterthought, but as like closer to, I would just say, the bottom of the PIP, like kind of towards the end of the PIP, you could write out all of those additional details of like, hey, this is where we want to take it in the end, but this is what we're doing right now with this PIP.
Right.
I think you can do both. I think the issue is that specifically came from the future, like, the 20 million atlas being at the top rather than at the bottom. I think it's literally as simple as that.
Yeah, I agree. And that's the conclusion we came to in the voice chat, that really ultimately the only edit it needs is to call it, like 10 million in like the summary, etc. So it's just clear. So you get both. You get, on one hand, it's very clear that if you approve this, it results in 10 million atlas being funded to something. And then when you go into specifications and stuff like that, you can then see that total number and how it would be arrived at. Like if those other things are approved.
So the way I always envisioned that this would work when it got to these levels of complexity, when you need to do several steps, and when the ecosystem fund limits are not enough to complete one of these linear projects, which is completely within the rules as well, because the rules only say that not more than 5% at a time for the same PIP and same person. So the way I envision this should work is that there should be a PIP 17 that is an umbrella PIP and defines 3 different steps. And then there should be 3 small PIPs, 17A, 17B, and 17C. And 17A is what should go into voting now. And 17A should be very explicit. This is 10 million atlas. It's going to be for these deliverables, these deliverables, these deliverables, and these deliverables. And this is the first part of a 3-step process. And that would solve everything, because then people know exactly what they're voting, and they also know exactly what the whole idea is. And normally, if you vote for the first one, you should vote for the second and the third one, as long as they are delivering the results that you are expecting to see.
Right. And it's only complicated, like, this also gets into DAO casters too, which is it's another complex PIP. And how it's proposed that like it'll go, if you ran DAO casters for like an entire year, the way it's set up, it would cost like 24 grand, to operate. And you can't actually introduce anything asking for 24 grand, right now. So it has to have all these like voting mechanisms and things like that baked into it to show like that really, if you approve this, it's only this much. And then other votes would have to happen to extend it, and continue funding it. But then the question becomes, right, do you make whole new PIPs? Like, is there a PIP that gets created and has to get like approved as an idea, go through markdown review and all that stuff? That the PIP is literally just nothing more than saying extend funding, and for DAO casters. It creates an interesting argument for when things get more complex.
Where do we go to calculate the 5% cap for PIP 4?
A very good question. I actually, now granted, this isn't made clear exactly in writing. It may need like a correction or something like that, but I talked with Michael this morning because I was asking about this exact thing as we were discussing about it in council chambers. And he said the intention wasn't for the cap to get lower as money in the ecosystem fund got spent. Like the intention was there was 200 million Atlas that was put into the ecosystem fund. No PIP was supposed to be more than 5% of that initial 200 million. So the cap was supposed to be 10 million Atlas. And it shouldn't matter if we spent some Atlas in the ecosystem. The cap is still 10 million. But the current language just says 5%. So because we approved
5%.
since we approved several things and paid several people, now like someone modern day, their 5% is lower than the person who applied for something right before them, which was unintended.
So that 100 million is the initial cap of Atlas market cap.
I'm talking about proposal caps. 200 million went into the ecosystem fund. And then it was supposed to be that you couldn't request more than 10 million for an individual proposal.
Yeah, and I'm reading the PIP right now, and it's very clear: no more than 5% of the initial budget for the Star Ecosystem Fund. So it's from the initial budget, not the remainings of the
not
vote.
the moving not the moving value of the fund.
It's one of the things that is very clear on this PIP.
And it was 200 million Atlas.
So it's meant to be 10 million Atlas is meant to be the cap of the funding you can ask for at any one time.
Okay, where did I go? Where can I go to see that the initial budget was 200 million?
You would have to go.
I'm not sure if you can. When I read the language, it said that 20% of all the Atlas got moved into the ecosystem fund. I don't think it actually gave a figure, but it was 200 million Atlas.
And that was calculated as 20% of the total Atlas supply.
Yes. Of the DAO treasury.
Yeah. Wow, that's a little confusing.
Yeah. And and one of the things Michael was saying is the original intention was that would keep topping itself off over time to avoid confusion. And but once you start talking 5%, it gets tricky if like the treasury used to have 200 million Atlas in it, 5% of that, then it's 150 million. Like people could get confused and think they have to recalculate the 5% when they don't.
Got it. So it's 10 million Atlas for ecosystem fund.
Absolutely.
Okay.
And the fact that this one on the tin pointed out that in total it's seeking 20 million, even if the initial vote would only clear 10, we want to get that cleaned up as just a point of confusion.
Okay.
Also keep in mind there's a couple confusing facts we've been given. First, we were told that this was a one-time funding. Then we were told that this is supposed to be a quarterly funding. On the PIP itself, you have both sentences.
Right.
And, last word from Michael was that this is supposed to be replenished. But the fact is that it hasn't been replenished. And it's been more than a couple quarters since. So, yeah, there is that.
Okay. Yeah, makes sense.
So we just need more feedback from Dan or Wagner regarding when are we going to replenish, or if we should create a PIP to replenish just to follow on the mandate of PIP 4 to facilitate the voting. Maybe that's that could be one of our task as a council is just to make sure we process all that stuff, then they approve it, and then we go to voting.
Well, I think that's a great segue into my business cases that I've been preparing.
All right.
Well, I just wanted to say one more thing real quick. I think it would be important to, at some point, pin down exactly the way that we want these to be formatted, these PIPs like this, and update our knowledge base accordingly.
Yeah.
100%.
I err on the side of, because the DAO doesn't, it has the choice to say yes or no to each funded SIP. I don't really feel the need to require the full amount over multiple SIPs in the first PIP, because they can just say no on PIP number 2 if they wanted to. Like for Raspi's vote, what happens if that 5 million vote for the third one gets a no? Nothing,
Because
right? He wouldn't get funded.
Yeah, but he's gonna finish it nonetheless. But in his case, it wouldn't be a huge problem because the way he structured it and how he's planning to keep the money within the community, in the original token and all that. But I can see other, places where I think it's important when you split, because you want to take more that what you can take in one time in the ecosystem fund, that you understand that there's also a risk. But at the same time, you are giving the option of building a reputation. If you are voted yes and you deliver what you promise, you are building a reputation that is going to help you in the future to have more succeeding votes. And I think that's important, that people that need to understand that that's not for granted. That's something that you want to build up. So if you want to do something more than $10,000 at this moment of the market, you are going to have to make sure that you do a good job, because you need a couple votings then.
Yeah. I only see it as making it more difficult for people who want to do larger projects by requiring a consolidated PIP up front.
Well, that scales with the price of Atlas too, right? And like how big our DAO is. So eventually, as our DAO grows, 5% will be able to facilitate larger projects without those extra hurdles. But it's kind of a self-correcting system where, as we're kind of in our infancy stage, it should be a little bit more challenging to get more money out when there's not a lot of money to go around, right?
It wouldn't be a crazy situation that Atlas recover X5, and that would mean $50,000 for a single ecosystem fund thing. It's just a matter also of timing. There's so many things, but this is part of Web3.
Okay.
I would agree, Lancer. It does make it a little more difficult, but also I'm fine with that. Like when you're talking about 20 grand, like it's okay that it's a little more difficult. So
I have a different perspective on that one.
Yeah, because it's not your money. It's just
what do you mean?
You have to.
Well, there's just not a lot to go around. There's only 200 grand in the ecosystem fund, you know what I mean? So we got to be careful with it.
20 grand of free money is it's nothing to sneeze at, and I personally want to make sure everything's on the up and up, and I guess it's my real world experience with these rental assistance program that we did. Like there was guidelines, and there's certain people that went through and did the work, and they were better off for it in their business because they were forced to answer questions, and they were forced to have justification for us investing the money in them, and it made them better business people. And the people who didn't do it, that so be it. Like they didn't do the work. But that's a whole nother subject. We can wax semantics later. But where are we leaving this one? We're waiting for the author. Is that where we're at?
Yeah, we're gonna get updates that make it compliant and understandable from the first view in the voting page, and after that we can give it a couple days for the community to catch up and announce the changes, and then go for voting if there's no major outcry.
Okay, and the goal would be to do that in short order in the next.
Within the next 24 hours, you should probably see those edits. It's not a major edit, so it should be super fast.
Yeah,
awesome.
This weekend. So I imagine they are not going to happen until at least Monday on the governance page, and after that, I think we should give the community 1 or 2 days before the voting just to catch up and explain the whole situation, because it was a little weird.
It might be Tuesday because Monday's a holiday. I don't know if the team is off.
Yeah, exactly.
True.
But it's easy. It's an easy fix, and we already, it's just a matter of a couple of days, and then we're back.
Sounds good. I think we can move on then. So that comes to yours, Lancer. What do you got for us?
I'll bump up the business case first. So when we met some time ago internally, I said that what I saw was a bunch of a number of small holes in the leaky ship that I want to plug, and that I put together a business case. One of which is occurring right now, which is the ecosystem fund. The verbiage in that was confusing and led to different interpretations, which I don't think was helping us by letting that be there. So I'm about a third of the way through that whole both business cases, and it's basically a kind of cross-reference between what the PIP says and the confusion that it generates. And then I think what we need is a governance PIP to either replace or clarify the language in PIPs 4 and 10.
Yeah, an amendment should be an easy task.
Okay. Well, I'm pulling together the verbiage of what I think is conflicting. In PIP 4, it's the 2 we already mentioned, and then also the calculation for what it actually is. I think it needs to be in there. It shouldn't be a mystery to calculate what the 5% is. And then
that's going to change quarterly, though.
Whatever it is, it needs to not be a mystery. And right now, it doesn't clarify what it is at all. It mentioned 500,000, and then later on, like I can't even tell.
Wallet for the ecosystem fund where they separate that atlas, the original 200,000 is separated, or is it all just virtually separated?
I don't know.
Because if they could provide that wallet address in there, that would help, right? We would be able to see those.
No, the wallet is there. You have all that information in Treasury.
Does the ecosystem fund have its own wallet separate from the DAO?
Yes.
Oh,
it's in the Treasury. Yes.
So then we'll be able to.
Right now it has 158 million atlas,
and it started with 200 million.
That's what we're listening. I'm not completely sure of that.
We
wouldn't be able to specify the amount. About. That not completely sure is the confusion I'm talking about.
I agree.
We wouldn't be able to specify that amount in the PIP because, like Drum said, it's gonna fluctuate quarterly how much is actually going in. But as long as the address is there, then all the information is available as accurately as you could get it. I mean, we could put the quarterly amounts on like the knowledge base, for example, or
I think all of this is exactly what he's talking about. We'll just like clarify, just get some initial clarification and move on.
I think those are that should super be complicated. It should be included into that page at the Treasury page. To be clear, that way everything is there.
Yeah, that's fine.
Current 5% ecosystem is boom this. And then when it gets replenished, if that changes, that updates there, and then it's clear. I agree.
Yeah. All right, and the bigger question was that I've been trying to solve for is I keep hearing different stories on whether or not every single PIP in the DAO is under the jurisdiction of the ecosystem fund, or if people can submit PIPs outside of the ecosystem fund and they're not held to the 5% cap.
They can, but we cannot approve them. They have to have a separate conversation. So it's outside of our process.
What do you mean we can't approve them?
Because we have been limited to the ecosystem fund.
Like we as the we as the council can move stuff to Glenn and to the foundation really quick. Versus, I think there would just be an extra step if somebody requested more money than the ecosystem fund, then we'd have to get the Autonoma involved before it went to Glenn and the foundation. Would that be a correct synopsis?
Yeah.
Yep.
Okay.
Okay, help me out. Point to me where Autonoma is involved in this process.
In the conversations that we've had with Swags and Autonoma and everything. It's not written down anywhere.
Yeah, it's the answers we've gotten from the foundation in the past several times, from Wagner and Dan.
Yeah, but it's not clear. That's what I'm trying to say. It's very unclear.
I think everyone agrees with you.
Okay,
would it be
gotcha.
Or
I think literally everyone is saying they agree it's not clear and that we should get some clarity on it. I think
okay.
you're on a side of an argument that everyone's already agreeing with you.
Oh, all right. I missed that. Okay, so my business case is going to draw that out, and that's what I'll submit as part of the clarity that I think is needed.
Just wanted to get that log jam out of the way.
I think you
already have. I think you already have agreement from everyone that it's not clear.
Okay, and the second one was the governance thing. So pips 2 and 10, I believe it is. Give me a second. So the Star Atlas DAO Council pip.
3 and 10.
3 and 10, right? 3 and 10 is not consistent with our daily duties. And part of the business case will also call for a pip that clarifies that and makes it clear what our role really is versus what the pip describes.
Can you give us an example? Just out of curiosity.
Yeah, that we're limited only to kind of stewarding the pip process. That pips 3 and 10 describe more than that, and it shouldn't describe that as part of our duties if we're not doing them and if we're not allowed to do them.
I'd love to see the proposal. I think it's a cool idea.
Yeah, because otherwise you would not have had a Lancer come in, do all, and then find out that that's not really how it works on the inside.
Yeah.
And I'm far from being the only person you're going to encounter like this. For anyone who reads pips 1 through 3 and 10.
I like it. Do you actually have a proposal or framework laid out yet?
Yeah, I connected all the language that conflicts with each other. The only thing I haven't done yet is propose a new language, which I think it's just kind of removing it since it doesn't seem to be within our wheelhouse.
No,
but
I just mean is there do you have a document or anything?
Yeah, I have a Google Doc.
Oh, nice. Cool.
Yeah, it's what I did when I was traveling is just start hammering away, looking at phrases that didn't seem to go together. And it's all good if that's not in our wheelhouse. It just needs to be clear from the PIP so that candidates don't get the wrong impression.
Yeah, no, perfect.
Cool. Yep, that'll make me happy. All right, I'm good for the business cases.
Do you want to go over number 4?
Yeah, scope of responsibility. I feel like we did. You all go over this since we last talked about it 3-4 weeks ago?
No, we didn't. And this left side was just me trying to summarize what you were asking to make it clear, at least for us, and to get together and go back to the foundation or automata if we need to clear things out and incorporate it into the knowledge base to kind of clear all that murky area that there's too many of them.
Okay. Yeah.
That we know the answers. We know the answers, but the answers are not anywhere to be read and are sometimes in conflict with language of pips. So yeah. I agree with you.
Yeah, it makes sense. So then let's hammer out the right-hand side then.
So we are pretty much in a good motion now with the right side. I haven't updated any of that from the first day that I proposed that, but if you want, we can go through it. And then the left side is something that we have to work together.
Yeah, all I'm looking for here is to make the right side consistent with our org chart, where we had our own kind of summary. Like I'm the presiding officer now, which sure, I think that actually makes sense after I Googled it again. And Emperor is the council chair. Drum, you're the secretary. Bodhi's the treasurer, and Signal is our lovely public relations.
So basically, I look for the corporate descriptions of what we're actually doing, and pick those just because it was better than what we had before.
Okay. Yeah, presiding officer for me, which is basically running the meetings and make sure we stay on target for agenda and everything. I love that. I think that's great. Council chair, what was meant is that?
That's a person that is in charge of processes and rules and stuff like that. Which is something that Emperor wants to work on, and standardizations and rubrics and stuff like that.
So where on this list was Emperor doing that? the pip structure and standardization manager?
Yeah.
Okay.
I found better names for all this stuff. This was, the first time I had the idea, and then I went and, spent a little while in Google, and then I became an expert in boards.
Oh, I gotcha. Okay. So now that we've got a number of weeks under our belt, I seem to be doing, I think I'm sliding into the markdown portion. Emperor, are you still working on standardization rubrics and tools?
It's definitely on the list in addition to everything else, but yes.
Yeah, and community tools, I meant the dashboard and all that stuff.
Okay. Gotcha. And Discord structures all of us, although it seems to be like Carlos and Bodhi right now.
Yeah, I'm normally on top of keeping the right places for discussion with the pips, the ideas, the vote, the right markers that it's in voting or will begin soon or it was approved, or so all that kind of housekeeping I'm on top of.
Okay. Yeah, I've been doing a lot of the internal council forums and like translating them over into the review thread. Okay, now that makes sense.
Maybe you know what we didn't do? We didn't start the meeting on Discord, I don't think.
Oh. Okay.
Damn it. I've been doing that every week. Oh,
Pip treasurer? Yeah, I think it's definitely Bodhi. For sure.
Yeah.
What about pip preparation? What is that duty? Is that the markdown?
No, I don't remember what I meant.
Convert pip to markdown, communicates with Automata Foundation and other requirements for pips to achieve voting stage. That's what you wrote down.
Yeah.
For pip preparation and voting manager. It's down. It's the very last one.
Oh, okay. I think now, Carlos, you and I are sharing that. Yeah.
So you're doing the markdowns, and then he's definitely communicating with Autonoma, the foundation, and like he's more the back end. Yeah, like Xenor and all that to get stuff actually up there.
Yeah, okay.
In the other.
And then I think what I'm starting to do, at least I did for the past few, only because Signal needed, when you asked me that one time some weeks ago, and I created the accounts forums, when we've cleared step 3, I think it was, post-finish thread. Yeah, when we cleared step 3 to step 4A, I've been creating the thread in the council forums, Carlos.
Nice.
Is that something that you want me to continue? Does it matter to you?
No, whatever you feel comfortable doing, go for it.
Okay, cool. Then I'll share that role with you, and then I'll raise my hand because the part that confuses me still is when to do it, and
when we are coming up with these positions, doesn't mean that we cannot help everyone and we cannot do everything, all of us. It's easier, if someone starts managing one section, like for example, Signal might have an idea of the timing of certain messages, and then if someone just randomly start posting stuff, then we're sabotaging each other. So that was the thought behind it.
Okay, that makes sense. And then DAO interoperability and partnership, I am still doing that, and it's gonna be a longer play for me, like my long-term stuff.
Sounds good.
And what do we got? Signal is just banging it out, man, with the public relations. Holy smokes! Dude, you are crushing it.
There's been one repeating petition online about publishing also some kind of summary of what we're doing. Like, I know we share the minutes, I know we share these recordings, but some people just want to come and read an announcement and be up to date. So I was thinking that Emperor could help us with that, summarizing the minutes and putting something too long to read for the people out. That is something that he's been talking about for a few weeks. Yeah, even if it's not AI, even if it's not an AI conversation, just a simple announcement could make wonders.
Okay.
Yep. And Emperor, that's why that was one of my action items here, if we get to it. But yeah, we can I wanted to kind of make sure that was fine with everyone, and I wanted to see how everyone thought we should do it, whether it's a video or voice like that podcast thing, or just text or what. But yeah, I'm happy to take that torch.
If you can do the podcast thing, that sounds awesome.
I think so, but I know it annoys the shit out of certain people, but not to name names. Drum.
Everything annoys the shit out of somebody. You go
I would
out
love
there
to take
and you
that
look
on.
hard enough, somebody gets really pissed off by ice cream sundaes and puppies. I mean,
You know what? The only ones I care about are you guys.
Aww.
I was going fucking nuts listening to those two AI voices talking for 15 minutes on the last example you posted. I was about to
I know.
kill one of them.
Hey, in the customization prompt, you can tell it to stay under 5.
Yeah, I think that
I
would
know.
be a lot better.
Yeah, cool.
I'm gonna make it 15 minutes just to annoy you, Drum.
I won't be the only one annoyed, so you carry on with that.
All right, I think I'm good
I love
on
how
this.
you guys immediately nominate, like Drum literally immediately nominates Emp for it, and then simultaneously goes like, "I fucking hated that update that you did," and I'm not the only one who will be annoyed by it.
Yeah. All right, I think I'm good on the right-hand side now, and on the left-hand side, I think it'll align with the business case that I'm going to put together,
Okay.
so we can
Yeah.
we can move on from here. Okay, what's next? Oh, we're at our hour-long mark. I don't see anyone except
We're
for
gonna keep
ICN.
going.
Yeah. Okay.
Yeah, and yeah, we're just gonna keep going for another 15 minutes if everyone's okay with that.
Yeah. Okay. What's up next?
Apparently, everyone's at the lake.
Yeah. They're all at the Finger Lakes.
We can probably, Bodhi, do you need to go over your SOP right now, or do you just want to do that? Is there anything pressing you need from us?
I don't think that should be done publicly.
Okay. I think you.
The back.
He's muted. Okay. So he's
thank
creating
you.
that. Okay.
Yeah, so
Yeah.
I wanted to the SOPs isn't as critical to do right now, but I did want to get the landing page done so that we can start bringing the author. There was another approved PIP, and we need to get Theo in there as well, because I don't want to be DMing him the foundation email and be like, yeah, trust me, bro, send your ID over here. So I did want to get the landing page done. I can send my draft to this chat, or if Lancer wants to look at the page, there's nothing on there that's sensitive. However you guys want to do it.
The email is there, no?
The email is not there.
Okay, because we
I
don't
have
want
Enter email.
Bodhi, what did you drop my name for?
to.
Just because you're streaming, I didn't know if you wanted to go to the ecosystem or the PIP disbursements page that I'm talking about, or if you wanted me to just post.
Screenshot it.
Yeah, go ahead and screenshot it.
Okay, well, I can post it right here.
Sure.
It's kind of long, but this is basically the.
Yeah, this is what I was reading in your channel. Okay.
Yeah, so this is basically when we assign the role to the PIP author that gets passed, the person that we're going to be sending the payments to. We're going to they're going to see this as the initial message, and then from there they'll be able to go into like a private chat within this channel. So I just wanted to make sure it's got at least all the pertinent information. We can edit it later as time goes on. But I just wanted to get it to a point where we can start sending people in there.
Nice.
I didn't see anything wrong with it. Yeah,
I'm reading
he
through.
put it yesterday at 11. I don't know. My only thing was like, do we put the foundation email in here?
It will.
No,
Yeah. It will. That's actually the main reason for this page, is to have that email address in there. we don't want to, you know, expose it to everyone. That way, the foundation's not getting like spam emailed from some troll.
Right.
But yeah, we need the whole reason we needed this channel is I didn't want to be DMing the recipients with that email and be like, yeah, send your KYC to this email address.
Right.
That's smart.
So this
Smart.
PIP disbursements channel will be invite only, and so they'll come here, and then we'll take them out of the PIP disbursements channel once it's done.
No, they get a role that gives them access to this area, and once they are in this area, they cannot write, but we will open a private thread with them, and then they will be communicating with us, and that way they don't see each other's threads because they're private.
No. Yeah, I get it, but will they forever be in this PIP disbursements channel
until we finish the payments?
Then they will lose the role.
Yeah.
Okay.
And that part is honestly inconsequential. If it's up to, we're not able to change the roles. So there's a couple different options. The way it is right now, there's a role that gives them access to this channel. And then we as council can create the private thread. So basically the way it would work is the community team like Santi or someone in that team would be able to assign the role. We would tell them, hey, we want this person to get the role. And then they would get in there, and then we could tag them within the private thread, and that would bring them in. And then whether they want to remove that tag is up to the community team. It wouldn't really matter because they're only going to have access to their own private thread. The way I have it written right now. Go ahead.
My only concern was the email address. Like they come and then they go, and that's great. But if they're able to be in here forever, regardless of the private thread, I get the private thread. That makes absolute sense.
But they will have it first time they join.
Right. But once they're in, they do their thing, and then they're out, and then great. I think it would be healthy to remove the role.
It would be healthy to remove the role once they're done.
Mm-hmm. Okay, perfect. That was my only concern. So I didn't see anything
I'm
else
good to go
in
on
there
this.
personally. Did anyone else see anything in there? Or,
no,
like that was the only thing
He's got both my thumbs up on this one.
No, it was great.
Cool. Yeah. I was asking. I guess I was asking the rest of them, but yep.
Over time, if you guys get a chance to check out the SOPs and give any feedback on that, it's possible that some of the information from over there might be beneficial to add that here because it's a little bit more in depth the way that we go about. Like this is just for the authors, whereas the SOPs is for us, and there's a little bit more details there that, like I said, might be beneficial to add here.
What
so
SOPs were?
That page is a little longer. It's in our council drive. I can post it.
The Google
here.
Drive?
It's in the Google Drive. I don't know if you can.
Okay. I got you. Yeah, I can go look at that. That's no problem.
Yeah, the other document that he made earlier this week that he shared with all of us. Yes.
All right, Bodie, look at you, man. Right on.
Hey Hunter, can you mute yourself?
Or it is.
Man, Bodie, you're crushing it with those SOPs.
Yeah, man.
It's the same one, but yes, he's doing great. I think it's awesome.
Right on.
It's a little bit more involved than I've got a couple years of experience. Like just do it, like all the stuff that I have in there, I do habitually. But to actually write it down for like future council members and like explain step by step, like this is how you make sure that there's zero problems. When it comes to payments, it's actually more difficult than I expected. It's like trying to tell somebody how to put a shirt on. It's like, how do you explain it?
Mm-hmm. Yeah. Okay. What else, Emperor? There's a couple for you.
Well, we already talked about the one.
We did?
The
TLDR?
Yeah, we just talked about it. Yeah, we just talked about it right before his when we were talking about the scope of responsibility slide.
Yeah, they said
So
that
when we
you would
went
do the
over
TLDR, and
Right. So we
maybe
went
the
over numbers.
He got voluntold.
okay, and you're going to do
We
Notebook LM podcast out of it.
I think you guys agreed that I can figure it out and do whatever the hell I want, but
Yeah.
Yes.
that you guys
okay.
were okay.
I gotcha.
That's what I mean.
Yeah.
We talked about it.
You've got the
Alright.
We literally
Homelander
just went over it.
directive. You can do whatever the fuck you want.
I didn't write it
Right.
down, so it didn't go in my brain. But now I will write it down. Agreed that Emperor can do whatever,
WTF.
do whatever the F he wants.
Perfect.
I mean, his name's literally Emperor. The only step up you can do from King is Emperor. You know.
That
Just
is
gonna say.
that is the highest. I have
And you're gonna
gotten this
are you gonna
argument.
are you gonna send it over to Signal to post, or how is you gonna post it?
I'm not sure. I'll probably just end up posting it on my
Yeah.
own because when I was a part of a different guild, I would do a weekly treasury update and I would just post it.
If you
as
need
the treasurer.
instructions on how to use emojis and these other things that kids do these
Oh
days,
my-
let us know.
Shut up,
If you need
whippersnapper.
any advice on how to sound like a pot smoking degenerate cryptomaniac, then I'm around. But I think you'll be all right without it.
No,
I'll
Lame
figure
is
it out.
fine too.
I'll mess it up a time or two. So yeah. So then the only other thing, I don't even think there's anyone in here again. Okay. The only other thing that that led me into my next deal. So the action item in minutes format. I think we'll end up tweaking them a little bit, just so it's easier. Maybe not easier, but I don't know. I probably shouldn't have put it on here. I'll probably, when I'm working on the TLDR, I'll figure out what I was meaning by that. When we run our downtown meetings, it's ran a little bit different. And if I'm doing the TLDR, it might be a little more helpful in a different format, but I'm not sure. But that's just, we can just delete that. It's good enough for today.
Wait, are you talking about adjusting these meeting minutes?
Yeah, just kind of like I was going to share in our private chat some of my the minutes and the subcommittee updates and some of that we do with with the downtown organization. It works. If I'm doing the TLDR, it works a freckle better. It's nothing major. It's just some formatting stuff maybe, but I was going to share it because it has some private names and stuff in it from our downtown organization, but it was just something that was on my mind.
So you're
No, not publicly because it has some like private names on it.
Boo.
so you're
It's
looking
like literally
to
make it
you're looking
easier for
to-
myself to do the
okay,
TLDR.
I think I'm a little bit lost. So you're looking to change the format of this slide?
No, he's going to do
I
a too
don't
long
know.
to read, and he wants to show us something that he uses with his real life board
Oh,
to see if
So,
we like it.
like, yeah, it's just some little. It's nothing major. I shouldn't put it on there. I'm going to strike it, even though we started talking about it.
okay.
So
And
what
the
we're
action
trying
items?
is what we're trying is
Done.
to use the information in this slide and make something a little more slender and quicker for people to read or hear or listen to. That's
Right.
basically it.
Yeah, that, and then I'm going to try to figure out how to do a TLDR from the actual video. I don't think VB, no, he's not in here anymore, but I might pick his brain or somebody else's brain on some of that stuff too. But yep.
Okay.
So I deleted it. We're good.
And the action items are going to stay the same, or they're changing too?
No, nothing is changing here
No.
from your slides. This is
Oh.
just some announcements he wants to do to keep people updated and engaged. That's all.
Don't
It's-
touch my slides.
yeah, exactly. It's like don't touch my records that Prince says in the songs. The same.
I'm all good with it. I wasn't sure what the full scope of.
No,
Sounds
he's
like
gonna
you
use
wanted
the
to do stuff.
information on this slide and make something friendlier for people to read quickly. That's it.
Friendlier. Oh man,
Yeah.
hurts my heart. This is
Instead-
pretty friendly. I
Well,
thought.
this is very bullet pointed, which
Yeah.
works great for what we're doing for taking notes. But for someone to
All right.
have a quick read is a little harder.
All right, that's fair.
Yeah, it's definitely, it's got a learning curve to it for sure. I mean, we're 6 weeks in and we tried to run it last week without you and it went okay. But you've been so ingrained in it and you created it, and it's
We're
very,
lost without
very
you,
handy. And
Lancer.
Well, let me
That's
put it
what
this
Emp
way:
wants you to know.
if this thing was not doable for you all while I'm here, I failed, and we should improve it.
Lancer, without you, we're not the peanut butter, we're not the jelly, we're just the bread, man. You know what I mean?
Oh, thank you
need a
for
presiding officer.
flattering my ego.
Oh,
Okay. All right. Well, that hurts my heart a little bit, but if that's the truth, then that's the truth.
it's just, it's like we couldn't, I don't want to say we couldn't figure it out. We stumbled through it and we made it work, but it is a little clunky,
Okay.
a little bit.
Well,
so.
it seemed like you all did it because I was able to read last week, and I was just going through this right here that you all did. And
Yeah, we tried. I think
Okay.
we did a decent job.
yeah, so all it is
we
the
did
top
okay.
left, and the top left is just when you start, when you end, who attended, and right now we have 6 live viewers on X right now on my broadcast. So I just put that number there, and then when I upload it later, the link goes here. Oops, I forgot
we
to
get
upload.
it. We get it.
Okay.
And, it's just not a big deal.
Not a big deal.
Nope.
Okay.
It's all good. And I see
guys.
Bohemian. Who summoned Bohemian?
All right,
I know
then-
who summoned Bohemian.
If that's it, then that's all of our agenda items, and I've got to go in a few minutes.
I think we're good.
Bohemian's here.
The
Yeah.
party starts.
Yeah, my bat signal worked. What's up, man?
We shall henceforth now move over to office hours. Yeah.
That is correct.
Yeah.
Perfect.
All right.
Now that we're done with the meeting, who's gonna signal? Do you want somebody to take this, save this as a JPEG so you can post the meeting minutes, or do you just want me to do the TLDR?
Either one works for me, brother.
Cool.
Who's been saving this as a JPEG? Has that been you and then sending it to him, Lancer?
Yeah, I've just been saving it off of this and then posting it in. Anybody could do it, but I just been doing it because I'm in it right now. I can save it again.
Yeah,
No problem.
I don't even know how the hell to do that.
Oh, it's up here. You can see my screen, right?
He was a grandpa, and you guys didn't believe me.
Up here in the left, you see it. You click
Hold on.
File, and then
Okay.
under Download,
File download.
and then there's JPEG, PNG, all bunch of stuff. I normally do JPEGs because it's faster, but whenever you want a high quality image, you want PNG.
Okay.
Um,
Okay. So yeah, now we're done.
Good to go.
Is Bohemian still here?
He sure is.
Bohemia, mi gente.
Bohemian, I want you to know something, and I really want you to just soak it into your bones and understand it. We came here today entirely off of the pretense that just maybe you would show up. That's the whole reason we did this. So now that you're here, you really got to talk.
Yeah, you have to mute Bohemian. Sorry.
It's really important, man.
Do we have him muted? Is he muted? No, he's not muted.
No.
He's just lazy.
He does this to us all the time.
Yeah.
I mean, he
He's
talks
a big-
in our meetings.
He's a big tease.
It's
Give you a
J-Lo.
minute. Okay.
He's all about the governance, and then he comes to our meetings and ignores us.
I got to
Every
drop.
time.
I will keep monitoring the chat, and I think the next thing up for us to do then is there a PIP coming up I need to be watching for?
No, we need to go back to work to the other 2 pieces we have pending.
Oh, okay. So then Is he going to post his updates to his draft?
That's the ideal scenario.
Okay, so I'll just keep monitoring that, and then when I see a change, then I'll change the markdown and re-upload.
Nice. Yes.
Yeah, cool.
I'll let
Rock
you
on.
guys know. It'll probably be within 24 hours. Raspi's aware, that he's got to make a small edit, so
Okay.
it shouldn't take too long.
All right, I'll check in about 24 hours then, and then make the markdown and tag you, Carlos.
Nice.
All right.
Cool. See
Rock
you
on.
later.
See y'all.
See ya.
Bohemian says he's going to hang out with us. Take care, Lancer.
See you, Signal. Bye, Emperor.
Yep.
Thank you, guys. Great meeting.
Yeah.
Hi, Bohemian.
Drum.
You
real
weren't
quick,
even
did-
here.
It's not a governance
meeting.
chat without you, man.
I was here in the last minutes. I got here as soon as the helicopter dropped me off.
After the batty signal.
Yes, Batman duties, were intensive last night.
So,
Hey,
Drum, I just wanted to
please,
double check.
lot
Did
of-
you remove that pip disbursement channel that was a forum
Yep.
format? Okay, cool.
Yeah, I didn't want to create more confusion among us.
Thanks. I just wanted to make sure I was gone.
Yeah. All right, now that Bohemian's here, we can all leave.
Yeah. Well, I missed the peep review. Which peep did you review? The movie one, right? You guys are reviewing a movie.
Media expansion. We kind of
Yeah, we
lightly.
were talking about it a little bit.
Yeah, but it
We
was
were mainly
mostly
talking about how the wording's a little confusing.
I didn't want to comment on that on purpose because I did see a lot of things, but I know it's being supported quite a bit, especially by Signal. Is Signal here?
Yeah.
No,
Okay.
it's just us. He's not here right now.
He's not.
You can say whatever you want about him.
Yeah,
Mike.
fucking guy.
Mike. Okay. No, yeah, I would like. I mean, I just gonna say one comment. I like seeing things by category. How much X amount of money per item. I like seeing that, and I just didn't see it in the last rendition that I reviewed. It'd be nice to see how much is going for film, how much money they're spending for copy, things like that. I mean, I just didn't see that. Okay. Also, another thing that I like to see, not only on this PEEP, but on any other PEEP, I like to see wallet numbers. What is the official wallet number that voters can track? It should appear on the PEEP, so voters stakeholders can come back and just click on the or just open up the wallet and track the transactions, see what's happening, right?
I think that should be up to the author, because some people may not want to be tracked because you're going to transfer from that wallet maybe to your personal wallet or do transactions, and some people may not need to justify where they move the money to. So I think that's where openness and security can create a conflict, and I rather don't force people to show the address, but I would like to see it.
Yeah, I mean that, which is kind of silly because all the transactions can be traced from the treasury. We're gonna see it on the treasury. We can track any wallet. So I don't know what is it that they're hiding. Every transaction must be transparent on the treasury side, and any outgoing funds will go. Well, definitely we'll be able to see the wallet where it was transferred to, and we'll know which PEEP it is. So I don't know what is it that they're trying to hide. They should create a new wallet and work from that wallet if they want to be transparent, really.
Yeah,
Well,
but at the same time, they can do with the money whatever they want, because they are not forced to use it on a very specific way unless that was part of the PIP. Like for example, Raspi wants to keep it in the ecosystem, and he's providing that address so people can track it. but maybe someone else, they are willing to put the work, but they're gonna use that on meme comments or whatever the freak they want, and they may not want that information to be public.
Well, it's going to be transparent by default, right? So
Correct.
you could argue the exact same argument back at you, which is that they don't really need to disclose the wallet because it is transparent. It's on chain, So I think it's that's what I think it's even less consequential than I don't even think it's really an argument over like transparency or not. It's transparent by default. So it's just if they want.
It's not the same having a wallet with a transaction from the foundation to me that having my wallet published in a public Discord chat with thousands of people where they can send me things to my wallet that I necessarily don't want in my wallet.
That's what I'm saying.
That's what I'm saying. People in the end, people can go and track back and keep an eye on our vault and kind of guess where, but that's different from handing over the information publicly of people that don't want it. That's my only hesitation.
Well,
yeah, there's a lot of different little reasons why somebody wouldn't want their. It's not even just getting spammed. It's like one example I can think of is if you have a wallet that doesn't get a lot of transactions, you can set up a notification to where as soon as you do get a transaction, it notifies. You can set up like a notification, right? That way, whereas if you're getting a bunch of spam, then you wouldn't really be able to do that anymore. Which I think is particularly valuable if somebody is worried about volatility and they want to know exactly when that payment comes in. There's a lot of different things like that.
Yeah, but I agree that it would be nice. It would be nice if people would add it to the PIP when they don't mind.
Yeah.
But we keep interrupting you, Bohemian. What were you trying to say?
I forgot.
Oh, you son of a bitch!
It goes back to the original problem, right? It's the transparency on the treasury, right? We want to. I want to go to the treasury and just click a link and open up the treasury account and see all the transactions.
That's available right now in the treasury section of the DAO.
Okay, let's promote that. Yeah, let's promote that.
No. If you go to the governance page, the third tab is treasury, and it lists everything, and it lists the address of the ecosystem fund, everything there.
And no, talking about the treasury.
It has both.
It has both?
Yeah.
Let me click on it. I just want to be sure.
And the ecosystem fund has 5 transactions on it. So if people can't find what they're looking for, then they're helpless.
To be treasury account, and this is the ecosystem fund account. Easy.
Okay.
And then you can go to Step and you can copy that address and you will see how much it has. I think Step is not letting you see transactions anymore unless you log in with your wallet, but you can with SoulScan.
Okay, I see.
Here's the ecosystem fund right here. I mean, it just doesn't get much more transparent than that.
Yeah.
Yeah, this is what I mean. It does give you the treasury accounts, right?
It does, yeah.
I need to copy it. Sorry. What I meant is I just want to click on it and I want SoulScan to open.
Yeah, you can do that. You can open SoulScan and just paste it. But here, for example, I put in Step the ecosystem fund.
Is that just include the link in there. Don't just give me the wallet number.
No, don't be lazy. You can freaking do that yourself. This is Web3. Just go to SoulScan and paste.
Stakeholders are lazy. Make it one step. I have to copy this. I mean, I don't.
That sounds like their problem.
It sounds like what it sounds like. It sounds like a very lazy developer. created.
No. That's not true, because the thing is that sometimes SoulScan is down, and so you'd be better off going over to Solana FM or soulblockchain.com or whatever the other one is called. So it's not exactly optimal to even specify a specific URL, because those websites aren't always like available. Sometimes they're down, whereas the blockchain is always on. If you have the wallet address, then you have everything you need.
Fine. We go for that. But the truth it is, you design a user interface, you make it as easy as possible. The size will go down all the time. It's okay, that can be handled. Um, I just want it to be one click.
Create it.
That's only my choice.
Create it.
My preference.
Hey, we have an author here.
We do. Hello, Lord Rapsy.
Man, my pings are working today. I got to try this more often.
But you pinged somebody wrong. Actually, you didn't ping him. But we have a pirate amongst us too. I don't know, man.
I deny this.
You don't have to ping a pirate. They find you.
I know. That's what I'm saying.
Well, we were found.
We were found.
It's because whenever you ping, you're sending a signal out, and so the pirates will naturally, be attracted to that signal.
Pirates are not naturally attracted to signal.
All pirates are naturally attracted to signal. It's just not a healthy relationship.
Yeah, we can settle for that.
It's because signal's an ecos terrorist.
That's it, man.
It sounds like you've got yourself some lore, Lord Raspy.
Starting to catch up.
There you go.
Yeah, we were just talking about the ecosystem, Pip, my friend.
Oh, nice. I wish I joined earlier. I didn't see it, and I joined as soon as I saw. What did it? Well, I guess I'll listen to the YouTube video.
No, we could talk about it. So, essentially, the biggest thing was just that the way that the PIP was structured, it does lay out in the specifications that the first payment would be 10 million Atlas, and that other payments would come from votes at different milestones. But the language in the summary, the fact that it points out that it's seeking 20 million in total, we just decided it was a little confusing. So people might look at it at first glance and think that it's more than the 5% ecosystem limit. And we just want to clean up that language so it's a little more clear. It should be a very small edit.
Okay, yeah, that sounds good.
Yeah, as long as it's 5% per voting, we are under the parameters.
Perfect. Yeah, it shouldn't be bad at all.
I had a question. So earlier, Drum, you brought something up, and I was looking at this the other day too. On the ecosystem fund PIP, it says 5% per PIP per person or per recipient or something like that.
The same PIP and the same person, yes.
Doesn't that read to me that implies that a single PIP could give 5% to multiple people, resulting in the PIP itself providing more than 5%. Otherwise, it would just say the PIP itself is 5%, limited to 5%.
I don't think they mean
hold on a second. Can someone give me video permission real quick? I want to show you all something.
Yeah, definitely.
Yeah, who said that? Lancer?
Raspy.
Yes, the people needs to be revised. I have a version to fix that. It's not clear exactly how this 5% should be distributed or renewed quarterly. It's misleading. Yes.
Yeah, it doesn't make any sense to specify per person. It's just per PIP.
I think it means person as an entity claiming money for one PIP. I don't think it means that, if it's two people co-authoring, then you're going to give 5% to each, because that wouldn't make any sense.
So what is it trying to, when it says per person, is it trying to say that the PIP can only send money to one person rather than splitting the payment into multiple individuals? Because there's no reason
to say per person at all. It should just
I
be
think
5%.
what they mean is that in one payment of 5% per pip is is what they mean. But we can understand because he wrote that.
Yeah, it shouldn't say anything about per person unless they're also trying to say one person can receive the payment per pip as well. But that's totally different than what it says.
Which makes sense, and it's kind of how we do it, but
right, like if multiple people from Slide popped up and they all said, we're seeking, 5% of ecosystem funds to do something, and it's numerous individual developers inside of it, it would just be saying that, there's no, it's outside of what you can do here. You can't make one thing and then each one of you winds up getting that. But I agree. I think the per person language is dumb. It should just be removed and it should just be per proposal.
Absolutely.
Or even more specifically, like per vote. Like, because really what we're trying to say is it should be impossible for us to vote on anything that disperses more than 5% of the ecosystem fund.
So, Lord Raspy, I don't know how to give you video permissions.
You mean to share screen?
We have to open it up in the channel permissions itself. Okay, hold on. Edit channel.
And for what it's worth, we are still on Star Atlas TV, it looks like.
Yeah, that's okay.
Right. Allow members to share. Okay. All right. We're trusting you.
Yeah, like the craziest thing you possibly can think of, Ratsky.
All right, it should be good now. We're about to get rickrolled here in a second.
Let's do it.
No, hold on. It's still not letting me. It's still not letting me share.
Maybe try leaving and coming back in real quick. It should work.
Did you give it to everyone or to who? To what role did you give permission?
Everyone.
Okay.
Video. Allow members to share their video.
Remember to put it back after.
Right. Hopefully this works.
Where'd he go?
Oh, he's gone.
It was all a troll. You gave him video permissions, they just ran away.
Right.
Back.
Is it working now?
No, it's still not letting me share. It's okay. Maybe it's not meant to be, but we just got something really cool, and it's it just looks cool.
Yeah, let me see this shit. Give me 1 second.
And maybe somebody else can figure this out better.
Do you want me to try, Drum?
I'm on it. Let me give it a go here.
Oh, maybe it's the PvP role we got to give it to. I think so. Hold on. Try it now. Because the everyone role is can't even get in here.
There you are. Oh, you're muted though. You're muted. We see you, but we can't hear you.
All right, you can hear me now. Okay, I don't want you guys.
My man, the one, the only David Fuchs.
Oh no.
No sound though on it.
I just heard Blanca Bandita in the background.
That's
Hello,
cool.
boys.
Oh my gosh.
Oh my god.
This is not
digital. It's like digital signal.
Yeah, well, there's more.
We're in a scary day and age. What's that guy going to do next?
This is pretty crazy. Is this an AI video?
Yeah,
thing?
I didn't make that.
That's pretty dope.
That's pretty cool, right, guys?
It is.
It's a teaser for the what's going to happen on Monday. Hopefully, we're going to have this out.
Woohoo!
He's going to be like naked riding an alien horse next.
All right, hey Raspy, can you make sure that you can't do video now? I should.
Now that we've seen that, or again.
I got one more thing to show you. No, just kidding.
You can show it here. We're not gonna tell anybody.
I have my 1 to 10 cards ready.
Oh my
Okay.
gosh.
By the way, permissions to share video has been revoked, so no one can. I can't do video anymore.
Good.
Oh,
Okay.
man.
Well, you were done, right?
Yeah.
Yeah, I was done.
Nice. Very
That's
nice.
crazy.
That really is super cool.
That's just
I
let me
have a-
know that like I've entered a whole new generation. For every one Raspy who makes like a good intended AI version of me, there's going to be a dozen made by Saint and Skull and Bones, or someone from Club that's just got something terrible happening. We're entering a brave new world.
Yeah.
It's funny. I've really been thinking about it lately. Some of the things that we're seeing out of like Vivo and like Google Image Generator and like the video generators and stuff like that. Like it really is an interesting and crazy time to be alive. You don't know. There could be like especially as someone who's like a very like public person here. That like there could be all kinds of crazy signals or drums or like pretty much anyone who's been on video a good bit or like shown their face, a reasonable amount popping up where you're like, it's a crazy time, man.
Now you understand me, right?
Yeah, Bohemian knows better.
I knew better.
So you're not catching me with that shit.
Since 2021, I knew what was coming.
Yeah.
But Bohemian doesn't have a face.
It's true.
I have many faces, Carlos. Muchas.
Yeah, it's just a coffee cup.
Yes.
That's right.
We should make an animation of a coffee cup.
Cup. Just have a talking coffee cup anytime Bohemian's talking. Remember
the voice of the revolution.
I mean, how fast this stuff is evolving is just crazy. Remember when like people would talk and it was like it looked like an alien or something, like, and it looked terrible. It was just like here's like a face and like the little mouth is moving like when the person talks.
Oh, I remember those.
Like that was just like 3 years ago. And like now I'm seeing stuff on the internet pop up where they're like, this is AI, and I'm like, that's bananas. Like that, like there's no way that you would possibly know that you're watching AI.
Yeah,
it's crazy.
Do you guys?
I'm seeing all the ones Bruja does all the time.
Raspy, are you guys using a lot of AI, or do you use it? Like, how much do you guys use it?
I mean, pretty extensively because based on budget constraints, we're not in person with each of the. I mean, I'd love to. That would be like so traditional filmmaking, and it would really, I feel like, be probably a pretty important part of the filmmaking process. So we should do that still, and that is on the cards. However, to keep things moving and build up momentum, yeah, everything is AI. I mean, like 99%. It's amazing.
I love tools. I love, as a carpenter, you got to have the right tools to get the job done and, make it as good as it can be and make it as fast as it can be and be on budget and all of that stuff. So I'm a huge fan of tools when used properly. Any tool can be used for bad, of course, but
yeah, I think
it.
Take a look at VO3, Kling AI VO3. It's mind blowing. Like
it's
voiceover
wild.
3. It's so amazing. It's insane. In fact,
I've been messing around. Like I'm sure plenty of people have noticed because like it's popping up in like videos and stuff like that now. But like I've been messing around a lot with like Suno, like generating like AI music and stuff. It's really cool. Like on one hand it's neat because like I can't play an instrument. And like you wouldn't want to hear me sing. But at the same time, if I have like a vision and an idea of a song and I've got like the creative vision for like, okay, here's what I'd want it to sound like. Here's the lyrics. Here's what I want to create. Here's like the story I want to put out there. Here's the vibe I want for it. Like I can actually create really awesome music without those other skills. So it's interesting. And in some ways, like if you've got a creative mind for some of these things, it's a bridge, but I think it's only a matter of time before it goes from being a bridge to just goes to being like, it doesn't really require your input at all anymore. And the AI is just better at even creating it than you are. Meaning,
Honestly, Signal, you could do those posters that you started doing, which I really am a big fan of. You could run those through Kling AI and bring them to life. I mean, I would love
no,
to
it's
see that.
true. Yeah, that would be cool. I could take a bunch of like my ecos like images and like animate them. I did that with some of them. Let me see if I have like a couple.
That's how you market your greenators, man.
Yeah. Like I've got a couple that are animated. Let's see here. Yeah, this one, this one, this one. I've got a couple of them where like I turn them all into like videos and animations and stuff like that.
Hey, Raspy, you should pay attention tomorrow for that first tournament with everyone in it. That might give you some material.
Actually, that's amazing. I'll screen record that as well. What time is that tomorrow?
The invitation is here at the top in the calendar. I believe well, I can only tell you my time.
Okay, I'll look at the invite.
Yes, look at the invite so it gives you in your local time.
So as the old man of the group, we just talked about me doing a TLDR of our meetings and of some of the weekly happenings. I was thinking of, the boring ass way is to just, have chat do a TLDR and post it on Discord. But then there's also that Google LM, the Notebook LM, where you do the podcast thing. Do you have any fun tools that would be really easy for a grandfather to use to do a TLDR as a creative way?
Yeah. I mean, I think it would be so cool if you do it have like a punab. I like those ones, but you could have anyone, an Ooster or Mud guy, like some even one of your own cards, so that way you make your own guy famous, and have that as a newscaster that's doing the weekly update.
What would you use for something like that? That software that you posted?
Vivo, maybe.
AI?
Is
What
that
would you use?
internet?
Shut up, Carlos. I was talking to Raspy.
The trouble is like you could use like Google video generator for some things, but like your summary will be way too long to generate an AI video off of. Like me, you'd have to stitch a lot of them together. And back and forth. I would definitely use like Notebook LM is exactly the tool that I would use for it.
Actually,
but if I was able to,
that's good. Notebook is amazing.
But if I wanted to do video, what would be a fun, easy tool?
It would be Google Video Generator. The big thing off of it though is just it caps you. Like you can only make them so long. So meaning you would have to make a shit ton of them and stitch them all together. Is where you'd hit your limit.
So it's not is it a limit per video or is it a limit?
Yes.
Total on your account?
I think it's per video. I've never seen one go any longer than maybe like 15 seconds.
Oh, okay. What would you say, Rusty?
That's what I've seen. They always have a time limit, especially on the free version.
Yeah, I'll ask and I'll send you a message. Is this Emperor that was asking the question?
Yeah.
Correct.
Yeah, I'll send you a solution because I think that there's got to be a way that you can have someone, i.e., a punab or a character that just sits in, is not moving, but the mouth is moving, and for your entire, update. So I would use some type of AI summary tool for the text, and then
you could
have
definitely do that. That's I used that to make the King Brian thing, and Hologram News was using it for a while to do like video updates. I can find that real quick. Give me a second.
Yeah, both of you, if you don't mind DMing me tools, that would be great.
yeah,
I'll
I'll do
DM
that.
you my tool.
Oh, Jesus.
Is that the right size comparison signal?
Huh?
Is that the right size comparison? That looks super cool.
It is.
Very nice.
Good teacher. Going back to the DAO treasury, guys. The Atlas balance on the DAO treasury and the USDC balance on the DAO treasury, to be precise, do not show the wallet number on the Star Atlas treasury site. Those are the
What?
ones that are missing. I'm sorry.
What I don't understand. There's the address there for the treasury and for the ecosystem fund, and in them you can see all tokens. No?
For the
There
on
it
the
is. It's
bottom.
called DID.
Can you send it to me?
Okay.
Yeah, we'll do.
I see. I thought it was split it between Atlas and USDC, but it's not. Okay.
No, it's all on one
Thank you,
one
Mike.
wallet.
It
Yeah,
should
one
say
vault.
DAO treasury account on the bottom. So that Nudi is the DAO treasury account, and it holds USDC and Atlas. Let me just confirm that.
And I don't know if you have paid attention, but every week that we're tracking the last 4 weeks, 2 weeks ago we have done 50K in the last 4 weeks. A week ago we had done 54K, and this week we had made 61K. So it is moving up. So we are getting more engagement in Sage for sure.
Oh,
revenue summary? We're still back in January on the site. Any word when that is going to be updated?
There's another one where it shows you the current one.
Well, I'm looking at the official one.
Well, the official one doesn't update as often as we would like, and we have hit a roadblock there. But I just posted there in the chat the one that has all the current information, and you can, if you have a Flipside account, you can refresh it whenever you want.
I'm very aware of Steven's
Okay.
work, but it's not official. You know.
It is official.
Well, official from who?
From Steven.
Yeah, from Steven. Yeah, I want to see it official from Star Atlas.
He works for Star Atlas.
Yeah, it's a bit
He's the director of
challenging.
economy of Star Atlas.
Yeah, so
it is on it. Yeah,
I think.
What more official do you want?
I know what Bohemian's saying. It's to get stuff updated. You know, they've got limited resources, and it, just so you know, we are trying, and there is a bunch of stuff on our list. It's like trying to turn a tanker ship. It's just they've got such a massive workload, and it's hard to actually get anything like officially done on their website without them pulling somebody off of another more important. I'll say. I know we're important. You know, the community funds are important, but it's a little difficult, and I guess that's understandable given everything they're trying to push out. But I understand what you're saying, Bohemian, as an official. This is I guess Stevens is as close as we're going to get as anything official, and it is really nice that he used to work there, like Drum was saying. But
we better
I
guard our
agree with
wallets. He's coming for us next. I think he's got an idea for a PIP. Essentially just to continue building economic tools and things like that for Star Atlas and the DAO. Put it this way, I don't think it's going to be cheap, but at the same time, I think it's probably super worth it. I don't really know anyone better at building on-chain tools for like informational purposes.
Agreed. But the fact is that they did the work, and the information is there live on the blockchain, and it's easy to digest. It's just it's a pain in the ass that we have different links. Absolutely. Do we wish that it was live on the governance page? Absolutely. Have we been able to do anything towards that? No. We have tried, yes, but it's just there's no one really working for the DAO on that.
And that's all of Star Atlas. Like, even if you wanted to learn about a spaceship, for some pieces of information, I would send you to the marketplace. For other pieces of information, I'd send you to the lore wiki. For other pieces of information, I'd send you somewhere totally different, or I'd shoot you like a spreadsheet or a screenshot I have of something else. It's just a big project, man.
And it's pre-alpha.
Yeah. And stuff's popping up all the time, so we're constantly gathering it up and storing it however we can.
And it's a massive pain in the ass, but it is what it is.
So, like, some of the things I'm posting in chat, like, for, like, EMP, there's, like, there's ways where you can take, like, an image and then you can animate it. Like, the first one is, like, my wife being stressed out by the dogs barking at the deer out the window. First I made a an AI cartoon, of them barking and her being stressed, just the image, and then I fed it into AI, to like animate it and like give life to it. Then there's things like Pika, which you'll see below, that can go straight from a text prompt into an AI video generation. Vivo can do it better, but you may run out of like credits and like usage for it. At least when I was using it before, it like brick walled me after a certain point. Like, it wouldn't even let me give it money to keep doing it. Like, it just, hey, you've tested it out like enough. And for what you're looking to do, this DID like app is perfect. Essentially, you just create an image. Like, you'd make an AI image of like a Punab newscaster or something like that. And then you would feed a bunch of text to it, like your summary. And then it will sit there and it'll read what you put into it as text. I was using that to make like promotional things for Brian when he was running for DAO back in the day. But it's really fascinating stuff. There's like tools everywhere. Like maybe you'll remember the old like weird like I was making like King Brian commercials. That showed like this crazy like king guy at like a governance desk.
This is where Emperor says, back in my day, we had to print everything.
You know you're older than me, right?
Yeah, but shh.
I just posted one of like the King Brian ones. I took I took images of Brian, fed them into AI, used it to create like a space counselor kind of looking person, and then I gave like a narrative to it so it would read it for a commercial.
Law and finance.
Well, send me some of those tools in a DM if you don't mind, please.
But that final one, so you see it, that's DID as an app.
That's okay.
And lots of people were using that for a long time. Like Hologram News was using it for news stories.
Yeah.
So how do I turn this tufa into a boulder?
I could do that super easy for you.
I've tried it and it sucks every time I've tried it.
Runway ML. Try that. Like, download that as an app. Feed it into there.
Somebody keeps changing our name.
Just do it for you.
Did you see that? What VB just put on there? It's got to be Saint, because it was just something pirate earlier. No, seriously. Oh, geez.
It must be a mod. I mean, only a mod can do that.
It's not real. If you exit it, it just says DAO Council weekly tag up. At least when I'm looking at it.
Somebody's definitely changing something.
This is not real. No, now somebody changed it.
Yeah, when I exit out of it, it's not there anymore.
I think it was a pirate. But anyone can
just-
anyone can just click and change it. It's just to update what you're talking about in theory.
How do you do it?
You click on it and you change it.
This is real. This is not real.
That's kind of crazy.
Yeah, you can
I
just
didn't
go
know.
to channel name.
Oh, I can't believe that everybody can change it.
Yeah, it's just to say what you're talking about.
Yeah.
Huh.
But no, exciting times, man. Also, I'm very hyped and nervous to see computer animated Signal running around. By the way, that guy's arms and shoulders and chest aren't big enough, in my opinion. Digital Signal should be buffed, man.
All right, I'll see what we can do.
That guy needs to be doing some chin ups and some push ups.
Block it.
But yeah, anyone else got anything else?
You're all fired.
Well, I think the idea of funding, helping to fund Steve's work in tracking revenue for the DAO, Star Atlas DAO, is a great idea, and I think I'm going to work on that. I'm going to help Steven do that because I think it's so important. The work that he does and the traceability that he provides is what
It's
we
huge.
should already have from Star Atlas directly on the website, and we don't. I mean,
Maybe that can work with your bounty, Emperor.
Oh, I know.
Yeah, I think when I was talking to him, at least in DMs, the figure he was looking for. Now, granted, he hasn't laid it out in the pip yet. And he's talking about in general for all of Star Atlas ecosystem, doing all this economic data and tools. But he was talking about like 2K a month.
That doesn't seem crazy. We can in one pip we can have 5 months already.
I agree.
12,000 a year. We can
Yeah.
go up to 10,000 right now, approximately.
100%. No, I would say it's super worth it. The stuff that he gives us is crazy. Like the fact that right now, like, remember we used to just try to guess at how much money Automata was making? And like just the other day I posted it on Twitter, like you could literally just see what the company made like over the course of the past month. You could just take that every 4 weeks and capture it again, and then you would know exactly like how much did they make in Q1 this year? How much did they make over the year overall? Like how are they doing? Like you could literally, because the tools he's made, it's super transparent like how the team's doing, like how they're raising funds, where it's coming from. Like I think it's massive. You know, we need somebody like that. Before he did it, nobody else was doing it.
Yeah.
And what annoys me sometimes is that whenever I bring things like this, they always come back to me and they shut me down by saying, "Oh, the information is transparent. It's right there on the blockchain. It's free for everybody." Oh my God!
Yeah,
We
it is and it
really,
isn't,
really
right?
try to
Yeah.
understand a spreadsheet on the blockchain. Right?
It's all transparent, Bohemian. All you need to do is be a
yes, it
network.
is.
All you need to do is be a network engineer and know how to hard code economic data and run queries, and you got to understand flip side and run all. It's just really transparent,
No,
man.
you all you need to do is ask in the chat, and people will give you a link.
Yeah, provided that somebody built it.
It's absolutely it's just a dark wall for me. If
I
want to
agree.
read something, I can't see it.
Well, the team used to say that too when we'd ask about revenue numbers. They would say back in the day, well, it's all on chain. Yes, it's all on chain, but also none of us had any idea how much money the team was making until we literally got this dashboard made like, I don't know, 60 days ago. So yeah, it's transparent if you're like a network engineer and you know how to code all this shit and track it and turn it into a tool. But if you don't know how to do that, then it couldn't be less transparent.
Correct. And gamers are here to play games, and they need things accessible right away. One click. not 2 hours trying to track down one transaction.
100%.
Not being sure if it's got the right one without asking.
You find out the limitations of soul scan really fast.
Correct. Talk about soul scan, and then if you push back, you keep pushing back. They finally say the ultimate answer is a private company. I mean, that's when the doors get shut.
Right.
And it is a private company. But it's on the blockchain.
It's all
So
on the blockchain, man.
Here's my result signal.
Oh, let me see.
That's the best. That's the best one I've got so far.
It's not that bad. Why is the ground moving? He looks like he just died. He didn't turn into a rock. He just
It's
got
a
shot in the chest
transformer.
and
It
he fell
transforms
over.
into a turd.
Yeah.
Yeah, that's the best one I've got so far. The other ones, dude, were awful.
I'm gonna make you a better one. I'll make you a better one and give it to you.
I need him to just turn into like an inconspicuous rock, Tufa style.
Yeah. I made one back in the day that was freaking someone wanted Hawk Tufa Girl as a Tufa to make Hawk Tufa. And I mean
that was Zamzor.
Yeah.
That's funny.
Is there any Tufa porn?
Oh geez.
Tufa porn? There should be.
Yeah, but I mean, with all this AI, I'm afraid even to mention it.
No, it's all coming, man. I really don't think like as big of a deal as people make of it, they are not making a big enough deal of it. The fact that now videos are being created with audio that you can't tell anymore that they're AI, like it's over. And it's growing exponentially, meaning it's not this isn't a fad. Like you're just going to wake up one day and you're literally going to have no idea whether or not you can trust what you saw or heard on the internet.
All right. Before I leave, because it's the end of top of the hour, I want to ask a question. What are you called when you like both sexes but they don't like you back?
Unpopular. Unlucky.
By yourself.
By yourself.
Yeah.
I love
in
it.
a mirror.
Yeah. As in BI yourself.
Yeah. Check out what's happening on Europe on the AI Act and what the US is doing with the US AI policy. Those are two things that you should be aware.
We'll always have China.
We'll always have China. And on that note,
China is mentioned. They're all looking at controlling AI. Okay, so get ready for that. It's coming.
China's going to win the AI race.
It's
and
between
so
the
many
money
races.
and the politicians and the lobbyists. It's a big battle right now on the AI.
We were talking to like an expert from my company in AI the other day, and he said, spoiler alert, China's going to win. And he says the reason they're going to win is just because in America and other countries, we're so focused on the damage that AI can do that we regulate all these restrictions into how we can test it, use it, teach it, train it. And China just doesn't give a shit. They're just letting it run wild. And and everybody's embracing it and just pushing it. So we're so busy trying to protect from the negatives that we're slowing ourselves down, and they don't give a shit. They're just gonna let it rip, So it's just going to grow faster for them than it will for us.
Yeah.
Yeah,
100%.
AI is restricted. If you ask too much or too deep, they call it deep seek, right? But if you go too deep, you say, I cannot answer that. It becomes political very fast. It is filtered. It's AI. It's a political AI. China has a political AI. You cannot go beyond certain things they don't want you to learn.
The other advantage is they don't give a shit about the cleanliness of their power. So they don't care. Like they will let AI run rampant, not regulate it, and it'll run off of like coal. Like they don't give a shit. They're just it's all gas, no brakes. And in more Western countries, we care about where our power comes from. We have all these standards, but two, we regulate all these restrictions into how it's trained, how it's built. Like we're putting up so many roadblocks where they're just ripping all of them down. They're gonna run ahead of us really fast.
But the one that's really hurting is that they're looking at open
On,
source.
on that note, I'm gonna leave you guys. Have a lovely evening and enjoy your AI talk.
Absolutely.
And
See you, John.
please don't include that into the ELR.
Love you, Drum. I'll catch you later, brother.
Yeah, I'm going to.
Leaves, that's the end of the meeting. We know that.
Yeah, let's wrap it up. This is now the conclusion of the Midnight Society. Yeah, we're all done.
You guys can hang out though as long as you want.
No, you're not trapping me in here, man. Talking about AI. We're all getting out of here. We're all leaving together.
That's it.
Bye.
We'll never leave. We'll start talking about AI.
All right, guys. Take care, guys.
Have a good one, guys. See you next one.